So, as the summer comes to a close and baseball season and the swimming season is dying down, school is about to start. I'm going from an eighth grader to the ninth grade now. I'm going to a really big public school where, of course, there's going to be kids of all, backgrounds and economic status and whatnot and everything. So, I get to high school the first day, already know that there's guys with full beards and other guys that look like they're still in elementary school. It pretty much ran the gamut. But I couldn't wait until we had gym class because I wanted to see if it was going to be on par with eighth grade, so to speak, where it was just like one or two guys that sort of stood out a little bit, or was it going to be more of like the guy who was on the baseball team who would just virtually spill out of his supporter because he had so much cockage and it was nothing that can be done about it and he had no shame about it. So, unbeknownst to me, the second day of school, we're already in full mix. We have to strip down in front of one another and take showers. So it was like eighth grade, but more intensified because there was a much bigger gym class. Okay, so my first impression was I saw guys that were totally comfortable with just dropping trowel and other guys who were totally mortified and with reasons to have that because it went from one extreme to the next. You had a guy who barely had an eighth of a digit of a pinky finger where he wouldn't even stick out past his pubic hairs. And then you had another guy in there that's thigh slapping, standing still. I mean, this kid, his dick was so big that when he stood still and sort of was just like, not moving, his dick was moving, you know. And so you can just imagine the amount of swing and bounce that he had when he had to walk or, was showering. And I mean, I must have jacked off to the image of this kid over 1,000 times back in school. And I feel sort of, like how I just used him as, like masturbatory fodder because he was just like, as closest to my uncle that I've come across to this day in my life right here. So, and then to notice the effects that it had on the other kids, whereas they were intimidated by him in any type of capacity where it's you have to be in showers or tight shorts or your underwear or your swimming suit because we wore those tight speedos and here's the guy who when he put his speedo on one of his balls would hang out sort of he had like ball cleavage just for lack of a better term or like the top of his dick head would easily peek through like the left thigh part because he doesn't have enough fabric to contain his dick at a soft state so it just bulges ridiculously and the kid is skinny. He's probably 5'8", 140 pounds, no more than 15 years old. And here I am, a freshman in high school, just amazed at the dick size of this guy. And I'm like, wow, if this is what high school is going to be like, I'm not going to make it because I'm going to get rock hard in this Speedo. I'm going to get rock hard in these tight gym shorts. I'm going to get rock hard in the shower just because I can't help but notice. And I track the guy. I can't help but be drawn to look at the mass amount of meat that's hanging from between his thighs. And not only that, it's not one of those disgusting looking dicks where it's deformed where, for whatever reason, if it was all confined up in a bad situation for a long time, it looked like his dick was sort of like drawn. It was perfectly shaped and, the color, the texture and whatnot was just sort of like, artistic more so than anything. It was the human penis in like its most well groomed look, so to speak. But that guy, he was very impressive, and that's what most of high school would have to offer. You would have that occasional guy, but this was in the ninth grade, and the looks and effects of the thimble dick kids, that it mattered to them, that it just shook them to their, their inner core, like they had to be in the presence of this guy, and it was mandatory for them to shower, and he had no shame about it. He would pop towels, he would, you know, be modest, but in his modesty, you can see his dick from behind through his legs. Like if you're looking at his ass, you can see his dick hanging, and when it swings towards the middle, or like pendulum as I like to call it, he would be visible from the back. And I was just utterly amazed. It's like, wow, this guy really does have a third leg. It's just totally amazing. Well, I'm gonna take a break, the pause for the cause, Phalophiliac.